Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Wealth Coffee Chat, the Finance Friday edition. What is a broker's superpower? Turning stress into structured finance. I actually really like that one. So I wanted to start today with some, inflation news. Obviously, we've had a few rate cuts this year and we're anticipating a few more over the next couple of months. So currently inflation sits at 2.1%. It's well within the RBA's target range of 2 to 3%, which actually indicates that there will be a potential rate chop over the next couple of months. Most banks are saying that the next rate cut will come in August, not in July. Fixed rates have actually come down fixed rates have come down recently, and they're at a 3-year low at the moment. This is also a good indicator that interest rates are on the downward trend, especially over the next 3 years. Now, what I wanted to discuss today was we often as brokers get asked from clients why we have to provide so much documents. We'll send out a link to our system and there'll be a list of documents there that we request. And I just wanted to explain the reasons behind why we often ask for more information, and often more than what the banks require. There are actually 2 reasons we need to actually collect documents. Now, the first reason is for lending. So obviously to determine how much you can actually borrow, and also to verify your existing liabilities. For me, the reason why we ask for so much documentation is that the more we know as brokers, the better we can present you to the banks. Morning, Tim. Thanks for joining. So when we ask for all this documentation, it verifies the information we've already spoken to you about, and not all of these documentations actually get sent to the banks. We choose the documents that are gonna present the best present you in the best light to the lender. That's our job as a broker. So when we ask for, all these, especially when it comes to small businesses, we ask for, all your financials, all your tax returns, notice of assessments, all that information. The reason why we request that is that gives us an idea of where we could present your loan to and how much we can actually get you to borrow. Now I've had a scenario with one of my team this week where we were asking for, the client was a PAYG, and we were asking for the client's overtime. Or we were trying to use the client's overtime, so we were asking for income statements, which actually comes from which actually you can get on the ATO government's website. Now, the reason why we were doing that was that we wanted to use that as well as the pay slip with the year-to-date overtime and work out how to maximize how much we can actually borrow for that client. And so that's one of the reasons why we're asking for all those documents. The other thing as well is that when you often sit down with a broker, and especially in PRE, especially in the positive world, we're trying to work out how much we can actually borrow. And as you start getting more and more investment properties, we're going to have to ask for more and more documentation because we're trying to squeeze as much out of each of the lenders as possible. So the more we have access to actually find solutions that are going to help you achieve your lending goals. The other documentation, and you're definitely right, Tim. The other reason why we have to collect documentation is we actually have to follow ASIC's compliance. So ever since the ASIC investigation into brokers, we now have to have a minimum. We have to request a minimum set of documents, and these documents are used to verify the information that you provide to us. Now, in the past, we never had to collect any credit card statements to confirm your credit limit. You let us know, and we'll document that in our fact find. We'll put that in the application. We'll send it off to the banks. All your liabilities now have to be documented. Now, with open banking, it is getting a little bit easier when it comes to the documents required. Morning, Trina. Thanks for joining me. With open banking, it becomes a little bit easier for documentation. A lot of that information, if the banks are doing it correctly, sit on your credit file. And all your payments, if they're all up to date, will be shown on your credit file that everything has been paid up to date and not late. And that reduces the documents that the banks potentially will require. But even with that, our compliance requires us to make sure that we have actually seen evidence that that all your liabilities are up to date and all your liabilities are actually declared. So even though technology has actually moved and there are other places for us, for the lenders, to verify it from a lending perspective, our compliance still requires us. And ASIC are able to actually audit any of our files. And if we don't have all the documents we need for compliance, we actually can no longer continue working. So compliance for us is a big deal. Compliance for us has been a big deal. So I just wanted to share that with everybody because, again, it's most of the brokers out there are asking for documentation so that we can help you achieve your financial goals. So don't feel like, yes, I completely understand. It feels really invasive, and we often know a lot more. I feel sometimes that we are on the same level as your accountants in terms of, knowing what's going on in your world in terms of the finance, how much money you make, where it all goes. We have to review your living expenses. That, oftentimes that's really tough. We kind of know how I've had clients where I know how many different subscriptions they actually have. And we've actually had to have conversations about how we can actually reduce those subscriptions so we can increase how much you can actually borrow. But at the same time, it was a great conversation with the client because they actually never realized how much they actually spent. And they had to ask themselves whether they needed all those subscriptions. So on another tip around that, knowing your budget is actually going to help us work out how much you can borrow a lot faster. Because going through your living expenses as part of our compliance does get a bit challenging and does take some time. So if you know your budget and you know what you can tweak in your budget, it actually helps us plan for how we can maximize your lending. Thanks for joining me today. I wish everybody a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. And I look forward to catching up with you all next week. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6 Star team here at positivementor.com.au.